Hi ladies, this is Christa and welcome to the Feminine TakeOff. You want to grow? Here's how you can. It is by making everything around you useful without misusing or using people. The feminine way. Let's begin. So ladies, to grow and to thrive, it's really important to use your femininity. And so a lot of times we think, oh, it's the masculine who does and gets things done. But when you are feminine, everyone has femininity and masculinity. So we're going to embrace all of it. And because we're feminine beings, we're going to embrace all of it and see it as the feminine way. And what is the best and most common thing that every feminine being is usually capable of? That is to grow things. We grow children. When you even think of femininity, I always talk about how whenever I think of femininity, I think of Mother Nature, right? So Mother Nature grows everything. It has grown us humans over the time and continues to. It grows nature. It grows plants. Everything you give it, it amplifies it. You give Mother Nature a seed, it will grow it into a tree. It will even grow it into a forest, right? And so that is what every feminine being is capable of, to grow things. But what do you need? What is necessary to grow things? That is making everything around you useful enough for you to have the ability to grow it. All right. So let's dive a little bit deeper on the topics that I've written for us here. So as I was saying, you want to grow and thrive, then ladies, make everything around you useful. And by the way, I don't mean misusing or using people. No. That is not what true femininity does. True femininity elevates and grows everything around her. So you make everything around you useful for the purpose of growth, positivity. True femininity gives purpose to the things and to the people around us. So when I say make something useful, I mean make it purposeful. Okay? I don't mean misusing things. True femininity does not exploit. True femininity elevates. And as it elevates, it gives things purpose. Only things with purpose elevate. So, ladies, let's dive a little bit deeper. An example of femininity showing purpose and increasing purpose in anything that is around it is like Mother Nature making a flower grow from concrete. It's like making a single human cell, making a sperm and turning it into a human baby that grows and becomes a full-blown adult. That is a display of true femininity. True femininity can even be like a homemaker, a woman being a wife, becoming a wife, and growing her husband's house into a beautiful home that she can grow children in and raise a beautiful, happy family in, if that is what she truly wants her purpose to be. So ladies, let me give you a few examples on how and what resourcefulness looks like on femininity. So for example, seeing a flower grow from concrete. Or even another example is like how you can grow, a feminine being can grow a single sperm cell into a human, into a baby that grows into a full-blown adult human. How we do that naturally, alright? Or even how our ancestors, the women before us, have made blush, makeup out of clay, have made eyeliners out of charcoal, and have made beauty products out of simple things that we might see as mundane or useless in the present moment. But true femininity sees nothing and creates something from it. I'll even give you an example, ladies. My mother can cook an entire meal out of nothing. You will see some flour and I don't know, maybe a couple of fish fillets or something. And this woman will make an entire 4 or 5 course, make big cakes, bake bread with that flour, fry the fish in the flour, using the flour as batter. Just do something and make an elaborate dinner plan out of something so simple. So true femininity uses the resourcefulness that she has to make everything around her useful and purposeful to her. And ladies, I will say, what you do with very little will show you what you will do with abundance. If you do nothing or waste very little, that's exactly what you will do with a lot. You will do nothing with it, or worse, you will destroy it. So just be mindful of that. Just because you're like, well, I don't want to use things, I don't want to have to do this or do that. Every time you don't allow your femininity to grow, to thrive, to be resourceful, to make everything around you resourceful and positive in your life, what you're doing is you're either wasting it or you're probably destroying it and chipping at it with maybe some insecurities. So just keep that in mind, ladies. And a few practical examples of this, ladies, is that, again, being resourceful, use everything you have. I'll give myself as an example. I have lived in this building for over 4 to 5 years almost. And with content creating, you want to use aesthetically pleasing places, right? I travel a lot for work, so you'll probably see me when I'm traveling at a different hotel. But I have such a beautiful resource around me that I never made useful until I was sitting down making these points, and then I thought, I can just use my building. I've used the poolside before, and I've never used this playroom. And there are about five to six different rooms that are like this. Some are bigger that are of this aesthetic in my building. I never use that. So I'm using myself as an example to show you that sometimes you want to be resourceful, but some things just go over your head. Give yourself grace. But when you sit down to plan things, then your ideas, the ideas to grow, the ideas to make things around you resourceful arise when you have intention towards those things. When you have the intention to grow, your inner self will reveal ways that you never even saw in front of you that could help you grow. One of my favorite Bible verses is Jeremiah 3 verses 33. And what it is God is saying, call me and I will answer to you. I will show you things that you have never seen. And ladies, when you truly tap into your femininity, I believe in God, so I always sometimes use God as an example. But as you tap into your femininity, you become almost one with your creator. And so your creator, your inner God, your inner light, God within you will guide you and help you see things that you have never seen. Things that possibly or probably were in front of you the entire time. Or even, let's say you have a full-time job or a job in any way and you don't love that job. What you can do is use that job, use that employment to fund your milestones. And when conflict arises, you can easily say, I am using this employment, this job, this opportunity to build my future and not to lose my peace. And so because of that, because you're making something around you useful, when something is happening that you don't like or you don't enjoy, you don't feel like you are in despair because you already know what the plan was. You already know that this is not going to be your full-time thing. This is not going to be your forever. This is going to be a stepping stone and to your future. This is going to fund your future plans to give you even better opportunities. All right, ladies. And another way, one final example is, let's say you're dating a provider, you are engaged to a provider, or you're married to a provider, and he provides you with peace, he provides for you financially, and so you can use that security and peace to grow something positive, to grow something with purpose, to grow something beautiful. And that could mean anything that you want to build. It could be to build a beautiful family. It could be to build a beautiful business, an amazing business, and a goal, and so. So whatever you have that is useful to you, make it useful, give it purpose, so you're not just wasting it. And when you are making everything around you useful, sometimes if it is even a person, they would feel happy that you are making their presence in your life positive. Instead of just using them, mooching off of them, and you're not growing, you're not thriving, you're not doing anything that is elevating you in the future. Everything is designed to grow. So use everything around you for that purpose, to grow. And sometimes I have to say this, just a little disclaimer, ladies. That's why oftentimes when I hear women say, oh, I am the table. What do I bring to the table? I am the table. You're not supposed to be the table. You're supposed to be a useful addition and contribution. And no, I don't mean contributing to your household with your hands, you sweat, and doing things that you don't like. No, that is not what I mean at all. What I mean by being useful is not using your physical power and strength and going 50-50. That is not what I mean at all. What I mean simply is think again of Mother Nature in nature, right? Nature is useful. We have cars, we have iPads, we have cell phones, we have cameras. All of those things were created by something that nature gave us. For example, some of our devices have gold in it to create the microprocessor or the chips that are used in our vehicles were created from minerals, iron, and things on the periodic table they came naturally from Earth, okay, from Mother Nature. But you don't see Mother Nature or you don't see anything saying, oh my God, what does Mother Nature contribute? Mother Nature even contributed humans developing, growing enough for our brains to evolve enough to even think of ideas, to be the modern man, to be the inventor, man and woman, okay? Everything that we are here, even this building, the clay, the wood, everything was provided us by Mother Nature, by God, of course, and, the earth. And so God created the earth. So whenever I say Mother Nature, yes, I believe in God. No, I'm not worshiping nature. But I'm saying when I say Mother Nature, God created earth. Earth is nature. All right. So we're all under the God umbrella. But anyway, when Mother Nature still gave us the ability to have everything that we use comes from the earth or some sort of mineral that we've created and put together from natural minerals. So yes, nature may not have built the car, but nature has provided us with the iron, with some resources that helped us build the car over time as we evolve within nature. Think of femininity in that way. So you don't have to build the person, build your husband, provide money for the household, but you even simply providing peace when he comes home. You simply providing beauty for yourself. You beautifying yourself, calming yourself down, being gentle after he goes and work and everything to provide for you. That is a way of provision, ladies. It just does not have to be a tangible thing that you can hold on to. Mother Nature did not specifically create a vehicle, a car, or the microchips or processors in our devices, but it did create material resources that we have now used to create everything that we have. And that is the feminine way. You don't force results. You nurture the conditions for the results to bloom. Okay? And that bloom can bloom into something so extravagant that you couldn't even fathom. So that is the true feminine way. So ladies, your feminine nature should be able to grow things. You should be able to grow peace and hence beauty. Grow the beauty. Grow vision. Okay? Grow children if that's what you want to do with your life. Grow a business. Grow encouragement. Alright? So even if your provider is at work, working hard, and you are at home, and he comes home and you're like, wow, you worked so hard today. Thank you for all your hard work. By the way, I have done this for you. And you don't even have to say, I have done this for you. You can even say, for example, your provider went out there and worked so hard to provide for you. He comes home to a woman who's beautiful, who smells good, to healthy, happy children, if that's what you want. Or, to something that is encouraging to the human spirit, to the human soul. That is what femininity does. Even without even needing to do it, you naturally do so. The more you cultivate your feminine energy, the more you find that you emphasize, you amplify, and you grow things, especially encouragement. Now, every time, almost every day, when I speak to people, it could be strangers, children, adults, people always tell me, wow, you make me feel good. You make me feel, or you remind me of who I am. And I don't go talking to people and say, let me remind you of who you are. But as I am feminine, even when I am quiet, people will say, wow, I love how you carry yourself. I love how gentle you take care of yourself. And you've just inspired me to slow down my pace, to treat myself well, to treat myself with kindness. That is a silent form of encouragement without even needing to use your words to speak to someone, but just embodying it, ladies. So when you grow and learn and sit more into your femininity, not only are you growing things, but you're also growing things that are inquantifiable. You're growing things that you cannot touch, okay? That don't always make sense to someone who needs to understand them. And you're also providing in a way that is deeply feminine, that is deeply feminine, yet it is not quantifiable. Alright, so the masculine energy can provide you with things that are tangible, that you need to touch, feel, and experience. But the feminine energy creates things that you feel, you experience, but you can't always grasp up to it and say, look at this. Back to the car example, right? Someone wouldn't sit and think that Mother Nature created a car, but she did. All the parts in that car and our devices came from the earth. Alright? But again, her gift, her provision is not quantifiable. You can't sit there and pinpoint it, all the time. Sometimes you can, but it's not always that obvious. But it is undeniably felt. If you remove a feminine being from a place, her absence will be very loud. I will give you an example, ladies. One time I went through a breakup and I had my things at his place. We didn't live together, but I would go visit so much that I had little things that I needed just for comfort. In case I would come over and we would head to dinner and I needed to freshen up, I didn't want to bring a new bag of things with me. So there are some times that I left things at his house. When we broke up, I simply came and I cleaned. Not only did I take my things, but I just cleaned that space as I removed my things. And when he got home from work or wherever he came from, he called me and he was sobbing. And he said, the place feels so empty without you. Of course, we didn't live together, but because my things were there, my things came as my presence. And so when I removed my things and my presence, of course that absence was truly felt. And he said, oh my God, I didn't realize that not having your hairbrush on my counter will make me feel so bad. Okay, ladies? And this person had a beautiful home. They had art pieces in their home that were as expensive as my car. Alright, so it wasn't just some rinky-dink place where, you find something pink or a cute little jewelry piece, and so when that's gone, you notice its absence. This was a really luxurious and nice place, but just my feminine touch, my feminine energy being gone, he noticed it right away. So ladies, your feminine presence is something that you can't always talk about. That's why if you're out on a date, or try not to even have to explain to anybody what you bring to the table, what your presence does. If they cannot feel it, if they don't know, that means they're too ignorant to even understand however you will explain it to them. Just say, oh my God. If they ask, so what do you bring to the table? Or what does your presence add on to my life? Just find a way to excuse yourself. Say, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the dinner. I have to go. And just ignore them. Ignore them. Leave them alone until they understand what your presence brings to them. You cannot convince someone what your presence gives them, but what you can do is allow your absence to speak and convey that information to them better than your mouth can speak and express it. And ladies, as you're trying to make everything intentional, purposeful, and useful in your life, it is so important to ask yourself questions. I always say, ask yourself serious, important questions. So asking yourself, is this place, is this thing, is this person good for my peace, my purpose, my mission, my growth? No? Oh, okay, well, I'm gonna just leave it where it's at and go find a place that has better use, better purpose for my growth. There's nothing wrong with that, ladies. Or even asking yourself, is this situation, this place, this person pouring into me or draining me? If it is pouring into me, how am I growing with that pour? How am I bearing myself with that pouring into me? If it is draining you, find a way to find the nearest exit. Sometimes it's not easy to exit out of things. Life has its gray areas and difficulties. But as you are feminine, femininity means beauty, growth, and so much more. And there is no way that you are truly stuck when you beautify yourself and you're constantly growing. It is impossible. And also, ladies, making something useful and purposeful does not mean pressuring it, okay? So this could be a job. If you have gotten a job and you knew that this job did not have any way for you to grow in your career or even a person or a friendship, you cannot put pressure on it to change and grow. There is a difference between intentionally finding purpose in something that has the potential, the ability, and the proven capability that it has grown or it can make you grow, than putting pressure on something that is impossible to yield you the results that you want to receive. So it is so important for you to understand the difference between putting pressure on something to make it purposeful and putting and seeking intention from something of its purpose. So an example would also be even in dating. You don't pressure a man, oh my God, I want to get married. When are you going to want to get married with me? When are you going to propose? You can say, I want to get married at this time of my life, in this month, next year or so. I intend on getting married. What do you think about that? And sometimes when you ask these questions, someone who might be playing with you might be like, oh yeah, I think this is good. I think something good about this. So a way that you can truly understand the intention behind that is when they say, oh, I think this is good, then you ask, how do we get there? If they truly have the true intention and goal towards it, they will be able to tell you how. If they're confused, they don't know how to answer, they don't want to answer, then there you have your answer, ladies. And another example of how everything should be intentional is in your friendships. Let's say that your brunch girls, the girls you go to brunch with, when you go to brunch with them, do you leave feeling more insecure? Do you leave feeling lack of peace? Okay, you go to brunch with this girl and they've gossiped so much at the table that, oh my God, you end up feeling negative. They've spoken so negatively at the table that you come home and you're like, oh my God, is my nail the wrong shape? Or are my outfits usually wrinkled? You start to think about the negative things because all they've spoken about is negative things, or even sometimes worse, all they've spoken about are negative things about you. Okay? That is not intentional. That is not purposeful. Being purposeful is not only with our job, in our dating life, but also in our friendships. Anyone or anything that tears you down and chips at your confidence is not useful in your life, ladies. On the contrary, if you have girlfriends where you've had dinner, brunch with them, and then you leave out thinking, oh my God, I should open this business, or oh my God, I should move to this place. She did it, Angela did it, Shanice did it, Crystal did it, and you start being enlightened with ideas, or you leave thinking, even for example, they positively pour into you so much. I have girlfriends that sometimes when I talk to them, I think that they gaslight me into my confidence. I was talking to one of my friends over the phone yesterday and well, we both started it, but I was talking to one of my girlfriends over the phone the other day and we were complimenting each other. And she told me that I have this thing about me where I know I'm beautiful, but because I see myself all the time, sometimes it's a normal or a different thing about me, right? And so she was showing me photos of people who gotten so much work done. And then she was like, Christa, no matter what work they've gotten done, they have your facial structure. And then she's like, but you haven't done any work on your face. And so this morning when I was putting my makeup on, I was thinking, yeah, I do look so good. It's because that girlfriend poured so much into me. And she's also in the STEM field. She was in med school. Now she works for a really, really big, pharmaceutical company. So I talked to her now and she was also even like giving a talk to high school kids, about like the STEM field. And I was like, I called her and I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to keep bragging about you to the world, to people. I'm not going to say her name just to like keep her privacy and safety. But girl, you know who you are and I'm super proud of you. And I'm super honored that you are my friend. You are my sister in God. And I get to call you friend. You're an amazing person. But anyway, friendships like that, people who pour into you so much that when you're feeling insecure, you're like, my girlfriend told me that my bone structures could cut something, okay? Because they're so good. And so sometimes when you're feeling insecure, you can say, I know my bone structures are great. I know that my nail bed, my manicures and my pedicures are always perfect because my girlfriend told me. That is someone being useful in your life. They are pouring into you so much that it's trickling on to your next day, your next month, your next years when you don't have access to talk to them all the time. Maybe because you're busy building or doing life, but they've poured so much into you that you have something of substance to give yourself when you think about them. All right, ladies? Hold on. Let me try to see if I can turn the light on here. One moment. All right, ladies, I am back. It's getting a little dark outside, so I turned on my light. I hope it's good. I haven't tested it, so I'm just going to continue the chat. But anyway, ladies, it's so important to surround yourself not only when you're dating, but feminine friendships that are just pouring into you. And to even dive a little bit deeper with that, in dating, for example, clarity is so important, especially when you're trying to build purpose, when you're trying to build things that are useful around you and gather information about things that are useful around you. So, for example, anyone who avoids clarifying your intention or information that is important that has to do with your growth with you, then those people are not good for your femininity, especially when you are dating. So imagine that you got a job offer and then you are excited about the job offer and then you say, okay, what is the salary? And they're like, well, I don't know. We'll see. That doesn't make sense. And I hope you don't take the offer. Or let's say that you're dating somebody and then of course you don't ask questions like this on the first date, but over time, after a few weeks, a few months go by, and then especially when they're trying to invade your space, your time, your energy, they want to see you a lot, you need to understand what their intention and purpose in wanting to see you so much. Is it to get into bed with you? Is it to get you married? Is it to build a long-term safe relationship with you, or that will even lead to marriage, right? So that is where knowing your intention is so important. So that example could be you are on a date with someone, you've been seeing someone for a month or two, and they're insisting coming over your house, they're insisting getting in bed with you. Now you have to start asking yourself and them to an extent, well, where is this going? And they're like, oh, let's just go with the flow. You only dead fish go with the flow. You as a feminine woman, of course you enjoy life and enjoy the flow of life, but no one should be able to tell you to go with the flow, because as a feminine woman, you are the flow. Someone telling you to be who you naturally are as a feminine woman, the flow, is trying to probably gaslight you, and I don't like using that word, but trying to trick you into seeing the reality of who they are. Okay? So same example. If you were to get hired for a job and then you ask for the salary and they're like, oh, let's see, let's play it by ear, you probably wouldn't take the job, right? So let's say that you're dating someone and they're insisting to use your time, your body, your energy, and you're trying to understand, well, what are your intentions with me? And they're like, oh, let's just go with the flow. And there you have your answer. They're just trying to use you. And so not only are they not useful in your life, now they're just trying to make themselves useful. They're useless and they're trying to use you. No, kill it before it lays eggs, ladies. And that example is what it feels like. You see that confusion, but you see that example of let's go with the flow, let's see, especially to a topic that is important in your growth. That ambiguity, that type of vague, unclear answers is not good for your femininity, especially in romantic relationships. All right, ladies, just be mindful of that when you're trying to make things and people useful, purposeful in your life. As feminine beings, we do not accept unconstructive ambiguity. It's not safe for us and it is not good for us. And when I say unconstructive ambiguity, sometimes it's hard to, let's say you're dating someone who's young and they're like in med school and they want to be with you, but they're also at school. They don't have enough finances to take care of you. You're growing together. Well, you're still in an ambiguous situation, but it is constructive because you see them growing. You see the trajectory of your life. You don't wait around on any man or any person, but at least that type of ambiguity has some kind of purpose. But unconstructive ambiguity, where the person doesn't know where they're going, they don't know where they're taking you, they don't know where you are all together growing, everybody's confused. Ladies, it's not good for you. Run away. And ladies, in making things clear and useful in your life, we also have to acknowledge the things that are not useful in our lives. And sometimes they're not always something that we talk about. So for example, on this channel, here with the Feminine TakeOff, oftentimes you see me with my nice manicure, you see me at the spa, having fun, you see me traveling and so, but behind closed doors and me being intentional and making everything around me useful can also mean not going to that party. The environments that I protect myself from, the lifestyle that I refuse to lead and follow, even down to the food and to the things that I refuse to consume in my body. Why? Because they're not useful to me. I gave an example of this before. I don't drink alcohol. I'm not like saying, oh, I'm gone to cold turkey, but it's been almost 2 years that I have not had alcohol because it's not good for me. I don't like the feeling of a hangover. If I'm gonna drink, make a toast or something, a champagne, maybe at a wedding, at an event, at something celebratory, maybe, but it has to be maybe really fine alcohol or just something, a little sip of it. But I'm in my late 20s now. I've had my fun share of drinking and having fun. And I'm realizing as I'm getting older, that is something that I don't need in my life because it is not useful. I'm not telling you ladies to cut out alcohol or anything that you like to indulge in, but everything that you do, ask yourself how useful is this to you? Okay, are you just drinking because you're shy and it gives you liquid courage or whatever the reason? If it's useful to you, great, go for it. If it's not useful to you, find a way to substitute that feeling. Sometimes when I first decided that I didn't want to drink anymore, I noticed that I got used to the habit of going out and ordering a glass of wine or even having the glass of wine and drinking it. So I thought to myself, maybe I didn't want to cut cold turkey from that feeling. So what I did is I started ordering mocktails. So I still have a drink. Sometimes I will even tell the bartender or the waitress, may I have apple juice or pineapple juice, but will you pour that in a wine glass for me? Because I like holding the stem of a glass. If you ever see, when I'm drinking my home, I drink from a water glass that has a stem on it. So I love the feeling of wine glasses, water glasses, just glasses that have stems on it. So when I realized that, honestly, that's what I really craved, even more so than the alcohol, I just started having juices and mocktails in wine glasses. Problem solved, ladies. So there's a way to make everything useful to you. Ask yourself, do you like drinking or do you like the feeling of holding a glass in your hand, a nice glass in your hand, and try it. You never know. You might stop drinking too. So oftentimes, femininity is not only about looking feminine, it's about doing things that honor you, that honor your purpose, that honor your peace, that honor your vision for yourself, and that honor the lifestyle that you want to lead, and that lead you into leading that lifestyle with purpose. And ladies, anything and everything can be useful, even the bad, as long as you understand what they are. And I'm going to give you a few examples here. With pain being useful, grief being useful, loss, heartbreak, illness, grief can all be useful depending on how you see it. But it's all about the intention that you have as you're going through them. Alright, ladies, it's important to always ask yourself, this awful thing that I'm going through, this pain that I am going through, how am I going to use it as fuel? How am I going to make it useful, purposeful to me? So I'm going to dive a little bit personally here and share a few things that pain me, but I've used them as fuel and purpose to make them useful in my life. I have lost my big brother. He passed away very abruptly, very tragically, in an awful accident. And ladies, when I lost him, I came across this poem that went something like, grief is just love with nowhere to go. And so that love gathers in the lumps of your throat, the corners of your eyes. Grief is just love with nowhere to go. So when I read that poem, I thought, am I going to throw myself in the grief and be awfully sad, even maybe depressed? Or am I going to use losing him to honor him and to honor myself? That time I decided to make a move and pursue my dream of becoming a pilot. It's been such a lifelong journey for me. I'm still pursuing it, ladies, but I decided everything that I've done or that I would do to my best ability, I'm going to use it to honor him. If wherever he is, whether in spirit or soul, if he could see me right now, would he be proud? And he passed away 5 days after his 32nd birthday. I'm in my late 20s. I'm almost in my 30s. And I always think to myself, if I had the time that he didn't have, what am I going to do with it? I decided to open my channel, inspire people, be kind to people, grow with myself, forgive myself, and live my life intentionally by using that grief as fuel. Even worse, my mom has recently been diagnosed with cancer, and I thought to myself, how am I going to contribute to her final years? Our final time could be any time here on earth with me. Okay. And I'm deciding that I wanted to work. That's why I work a lot too, because I want to grow so I can take care of her. I take care of her financially, and I want to grow even more so that I can continue to do so on an even larger scale. So that pain, that grief, that loss, that illness, everything that I go through, even, I've shared with you ladies, I've been assaulted before. That pain of being betrayed, of being used, of being abused, I have used it as fuel to make sure that the best revenge is for me to be the best version of myself, is to not stay in the gutter where people have left me, is to grow from concrete, to grow beautifully, to grow elegantly, to grow with so much pride, to be positive, to encourage and lift other people around me, and to be the best version of myself, and never in the gut, in the ground, in the dust, in the dirt that people have left me in. Okay? So you can use your pain to grow. It doesn't have to be like, oh my God, it's pain, or oh my God, it is negative, so I can't use it to grow. I can't use it for anything good. You can use anything that you want to be purposeful and to be useful in your life. It does require strength and intention. And if something cannot be used to inspire me, I will use it as anger to fuel me. Okay, as drive and determination to fuel me. If I cannot use it to fuel me, I'm gonna leave it behind me. If I cannot use it at all, or use it to fuel me, or use it to better me, I'm gonna literally turn blinders. Like, a horse when they have blinders so that they don't see things on the side, whatever's on the side with them. When I am experiencing something that is so awful that I know I can't use to help me grow, to inspire me, or to inspire someone around me, I just turn my blinders on, and this thing does not exist, no matter how painful it is. Even with a breakup, I recently went through a breakup, and I went through a series of just removing certain people in my life. And when I was making those decisions, I thought, how is this going to be good for me? The conversations that I have with these people, is it positive for the woman I'm trying to become? And when I realized that no matter which avenue I tried to switch it in and turn it in, it wasn't beneficial to me, I just said, I'm going to release you back into the universe, my friend. I'm going to release you back into the universe, my ex. I'm going to release you back into the ether with love and peace, but you are no longer, or you are not useful to me. Forgive me that I haven't seen this sooner, or forgive me that I am releasing you, but this is not good for me. It's not enough. So ladies, it is really tough sometimes as a decision to make, but you need to be able, everything around you has to be useful and have purpose. So ladies, we've talked about this previously. We do not misuse or use people. But femininity augments and elevates. Femininity does not exploit, but it does need to be able to augment you. And if you are not augmentable, it's okay to leave that thing that is not augmentable in the past away from you, because it is only going to drag you behind. It is only going to drag you back, and you do not want that, ladies. And even in the breakup, I was with someone that I was engaged to, and I planned to marry them. But every time we would have certain discussions and conversations, I would ask myself, can I grow with this person? If I lost my mother today, is this person gonna help me through the pain, or am I going to feel pain in addition to my grief because they are in my life? The answer to that question was so devastating for me, and I knew that it wasn't good for me to have this person in my life. As awful it is to break off an engagement, I knew that it just wasn't good. When I asked myself questions that were so important like that, I realized no. The answer is no. The answer is pain. I had to remove him out of my life with grace. It was just that simple and that easy, especially when I realized that my peace of mind, my safety, my health was in jeopardy. Alright, ladies, I can't tell you what to do with your personal life, but I can only inspire you with my experience, with my stories, with my input, and you can do as you wish with that information. And hopefully you use that information to grow, to thrive, and to not make some of the mistakes that I've made or that I'm making by hearing the pain in my voice and the things, the shortcomings that I had to go through. You don't have to go through something twice by watching someone go through it and then going through it again. It's really beneficial if you could watch someone go through something and then say, you know what? That's enough. I learned what I needed to learn. I will not be going through that. I'm going to ask myself the hard questions so that I can avoid the pain in the future. So to all my feminine beings out there, you are Mother Nature in human form. So use your power, use your strength that was naturally given to you by God, that God has taken from Mother Nature herself to give and instill into you. Use it to grow, use it to thrive, use it to move with purpose and with intention. Alright, ladies, that'll be all for today. Please remember to make everything around you purposeful and useful. And watch how you will propel. Watch how you will grow. Thank you so much for watching me here with the Feminine Takeoff. Please take gentle care of yourself. And as always, here with the Feminine Takeoff, we take off to better ourselves. Mwah.